Welcome back. On this episode of Self-Love Ignited, we are talking about the term self-love. And this is interesting because everybody has a different take on this term. Everybody has a different opinion on it. So we are going to look at that, and I'm going to give you an extra way that you can maybe reframe this for yourself and let it feel good and easy and fun. My name is Katie Allen, and this is Self-Love Ignited. Let's get to it. Okay, so like I said, today we are diving in and talking about self-love, about the term. And this is one of those episodes I didn't think I would ever actually do when I started this podcast. When I named this podcast, I didn't think that this was going to be a topic that came up. But it wasn't very long into recording episodes that I actually realized, and this was a bit of a surprise for me, I actually realized just how many people do not identify with the term self-love. For some, it is still quite triggering. For some, it feels really like fluffy and it doesn't really mean anything. So we're going to look at that today, and I'm going to give you some different terms that might feel good to you, as well as a reframe on self-love and a new way that you can think about it so that maybe it is less triggering for you. Okay, so let's just look at that first. Why does self-love trigger some people? Why does the term self-love trigger some people? And the most common thing that I have seen and that I have heard is that when you are in this place of really hating yourself or really loathing your body or just really like rejecting a lot of parts of you, self-love can feel so far away, right? It's like this thing that's like miles away. Like it feels so far, like pretty much impossible, like unreachable. You'll never get there. And so hearing the term self-love actually just feels like it is like punching you down even further, because it's like, why even bother trying? You could never get there, right? So that is, I would say, the most common thing that I hear from people, where self-love just feels like it's so far away, it's so foreign, that they can never have it. And the other sort of really common thing that I hear from people is that self-love is a journey. And depending on where you are on that journey, you're going to naturally identify with different things. Now, like I said, when you are in that like self-loathing space, going from there to self-loving can feel like just so far apart. And there's a lot of little baby steps on that journey. So quite often, and I see this with people a lot, we'll go from like the self-loathing to being like, I guess you're not terrible. Right? So it's still sticky, but it's like less bad. And then we move into this neutrality. And quite often this is like an acceptance space, right? It's like, okay, this is who I am. This is the body that I've got. And acceptance goes with everything, right? This is the life I've got. This is the money I've got. This is the job I've got. It's like this neutral space of acceptance. And then you can sort of step into that, like, I think I might be kind of cool. Like, I think I might like me. I think maybe I'm okay with me. And then we get into self-love after that, where it's just like, hand on my heart, absolutely swear I love who I am. I love where I am. I love what's happening in my world. I might not like enjoy all of it, but I really truly love myself. Right? So it totally is a phase. And I've interviewed quite a few people, and this is a question that I ask every single interviewee on this podcast is, do you identify with the term self-love? Or does self-acceptance, self-discovery, like, is there something else that feels true to you? And everybody has a different answer, which is one thing that I love. And quite a few people have given me variations on self-acceptance, because they just say, I don't feel like I'm at self-love yet. I'm getting there and I'm on the way there. But can I say that I absolutely love myself all the time? I can't. So I don't identify with it, but I identify as something else, which I think is just amazing. I think it's amazing because trying to fit into the box of self-love, if it does not feel true to you, it's not going to serve you and it's not going to help you, right? So really be true to yourself. If self-love does not feel real to you, find a different term that does. Some people have even said self-discovery because it's like they're kind of just like walking the path and seeing what's there and getting really curious about it. And I really too just want to say that there is no destination on this journey, right? There is no end point. There is no like, I love myself 100% all the time, no matter what. Done. I am never going to have another challenge in my whole life, period. It's finished. Well, I mean, there is, but as far as I'm concerned, that's a death. That's the end of life. And as long as we are alive, as long as we are breathing, we are on this journey. And it is a journey of discovering who we are. It is a journey of learning to navigate our quirks. It is a journey of learning to embrace and accept and love and admire all the different things that make us who we are. It is a journey and there are ups and downs, right? Like it's a relationship. It's your relationship with yourself. Every relationship in your world has ups and downs, has easy times, has challenging times. Exact same with yourself. So when I say I love myself, and I do, that is a true statement for me. When I say I love myself, I don't mean that I don't ever have hiccups. What I mean is that the foundation, the vast majority of the time is love. And I have the tools when I fall out of that, when I start questioning it, I have the tools to very easily come back to it, right? And I don't spiral like I used to. And the other thing that I want to sort of acknowledge is that a lot of people feel like the term self-love is kind of fluffy. And unfortunately, this day and age, that has happened. That's happened because a lot of people have taken self-love and turned it into essentially like fluffy, superficial self-care. And we see this, like social media really has done this a lot, but it's, we talk about self-love and then it's somebody having a bubble bath, or self-love and like, going for a walk, or self-love and getting a pedicure. And sure, if those things feel good to you, all of those things are self-care. And self-care is an expression of self-love. But self-love is not superficial, fluffy things. Self-love is that deep inner relationship with yourself. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I hope that I'm explaining this right. There is a different, like self-care can be an expression of self-love, but it is not self-love. So I want to give you a different definition of self-love that might help this make more sense to you. This is something I've talked about here and there, but the more I talk about it, the more I really feel it and the more true it feels to me. And that is, I've created an acronym about heart. So when I talk about self-love, I am talking about you learning to heart yourself. Now, heart yourself, self-love, very similar, right? But heart is an acronym and it stands for harmony, empathy, acceptance, respect, and trust. So when I talk about self-love, and this is a personal thing, right? So when I talk about self-love here in this podcast, when I talk about self-love in my other trainings, when I talk about self-love in my social media posts, I am talking about this, about creating a relationship with yourself based on these attributes. So I just really quickly want to take a second and go through them. Okay. So number one is harmony. So when I talk about harmony, I'm talking about having a harmonious relationship with yourself, not being a bully, not being a critic, not tearing yourself down. Have harmony, have peace, right? Be your own friend, essentially. Empathy. When I talk about self-empathy, in my view, I know you can get technical and maybe there's I'm sure there's differences, but as far as I'm concerned, self-empathy and self-compassion are very similar, right? They are very, very similar. And so have empathy for yourself, have compassion for yourself. We all go through hard times. That does not mean that you need to judge it. That does not mean that you need to tear it down. That does not mean that you need to be cruel to yourself, right? Have empathy for yourself and everything that you are going through. Acceptance. Ooh, acceptance is a big one because acceptance can be seen for many as settling, right? It's like if you accept where you are, if you accept your body as it is, if you accept your career or your business as it is, if you accept your money situation, You're just settling. It's like you've just given up, and nothing could be farther from the truth. When I talk about acceptance, I am talking about being with yourself in the present moment, here and now, and not judging what is, not labeling yourself good or bad, or right or wrong, not tearing yourself down if something isn't right, just accepting what is and being at peace with where you are in this moment right now, while still actively putting your energy into what you are creating, right? Because essentially the opposite of acceptance is judgment. Oh, you're bad. Oh, you're wrong. You're not good enough. You're disgusting. You're fill in the blank, right? Unworthy, whatever your thing is. So acceptance is simply saying, I am what I am. Not good or bad, not right or wrong, not too much, not enough, just I am. Respect. And this is huge, right? This is like respecting your needs, respecting your wants, respecting your desires, respecting your boundaries, respecting your limits. Respect. This is huge. This is a multifaceted thing, but really just having that self-respect. And then last but not least is trust. Can you trust yourself? Can you trust yourself not to tear yourself down? Can you trust yourself to be your own ally, be your own cheerleader? So creating a relationship with yourself where you can trust yourself, that is based on this trust, right? So again, I am helping you reframe self-love into heart yourself. Heart meaning harmony, empathy, acceptance, respect, and trust. So anytime you hear me talking about self-love, or you hear other people, that was a weird word, other people talking about self-love, I want to invite you to bring this into your mind, reframe it this way, because self-love is not bubble baths and pedicures. That is self-care for some. Can it be an expression of love? Sure, for some. Is it the foundation of self-love? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. So I hope that you take away from this episode, number one, self-love does not need to be triggering, right? Self-love is just an expression of different ways that you can be on this journey, and you are totally welcome and invited to pick a term that feels more true for you. There is no right or wrong. We are all on different places of this journey, and it is a lifelong journey. If you think that self-love is fluffy, which I do not blame you, that is the social media impact on self-love, I really want to invite you to reframe it in this way. Learn to heart yourself, because that is going to be what truly changes your life. That is going to be what lifts you up. That is going to be what helps you move forward. That is going to be what helps you break through barriers, find your confidence, build that self-esteem. Bubble baths are not going to do that. Treating yourself with kindness, being accepting, being respectful, having empathy for yourself, for your situation every single day, that is what is going to make the difference. Okay, that is what is going to make the difference. So that's it for today. I'm going to leave it there. I really just wanted to plant this little nugget in your brain. Please do not let self-love trigger you. Allow it to be an invitation for you to grow. All right, if you have not done so, please make sure to subscribe on your favorite channel. If you're watching this on Facebook, please make sure to like my page. If you are watching this on Instagram, give me a follow. Or if you are listening to the audio version of this, make sure to subscribe on whatever platform that is on. All right, beauties, that's it for me today. Have a good one. So much love to you. Here is to you loving yourself.